soulmate, okay? And then 3 weeks later, oh my God, he's more like the cellmate. He's not the soulmate. So it's a little bit of both, but you find it to be on that level because, you know, people want to know. I tell people, believe it or not, you can have a soulmate that's a friend. It doesn't have to be a lover. It could be someone that you just are on such an amazing wavelength connection. It could be a sibling. It doesn't always have to be lovers in that aspect. But I get these questions all the time. You know, I always attract the wrong guys, and they're horrible, and it's all part of the work. And, you know, people just don't realize sometimes that you're sending out that energy and you're creating it. And when you're creating it, you're making it that much more entertaining, and that's why you're getting dysfunctional people. So it's all part of it. Other things I get a lot, which I've been getting a lot recently, is ghosts are big right now. Okay, just the whole dead thing is big right now. If you turn on the TV, what do you see? Medium, world's most haunted places. I recently did a Maury. They sent me to a haunted house. Now I tell people there's a fine line between dealing with a haunted house and dealing with your deceased loved ones. Okay, usually with a haunted house or a place that's had some sort of tragedy or some sort of catastrophic event, those souls don't know their past. They are definitely hanging out because it's kind of like watching a rerun. If you've ever like read any ghost stories or heard anything about ghosts, they repeat themselves. Meaning that you, let's say, they saw the woman standing at the stairwell. Well, it's the same thing over and over because these souls haven't moved on. They don't know that they're dead in that aspect. I mean, I guarantee you, everybody in this room, on some level where you live, you probably have somebody living with you that you don't even know is there, okay? And there's different elements, and I find it to be more and more. Now, it was interesting, since I'm down here, there was a big uproar up in New York because a Boston Red Sox fan who was working on the new Yankee Stadium put a shirt in the concrete of the new locker room. So I get a phone call. They wanted to quote me on the news. You know, they're worried it's going to curse the Yankees. I'm like, I think you're getting a little carried away, but, you know, but exactly. But I laugh because, you know, that's how extreme people get. And I tell people in my years of doing this, you know, it happens a lot because, especially in New York and being from New York, we have the gypsies. And I can't tell you how many times a year I will get 6, 7, 8 people that will come to me and say, oh my God, I went to this woman, she opened up an egg, I've got blood in the egg, I must be cursed, this is why I can't meet a man, this is why I can't hold a job. I mean, you know, come on people, take a little responsibility for your actions. And it's amazing because these people end up getting taken, and I had one woman that got taken for $55,000, okay? I had another woman that got taken for $65,000, and I got this gentleman up in New York who lost his daughter and was in such a bad state. This gypsy took him from, I would say, probably about $86,000. Now they don't take American Express, you know, they take cash, and they do the jewelry thing. So, God forbid you ever encounter anything like that. That's not a credible person, and they're very good at the scam, and they really play on your so-called, you know, psyche at that point. And if, as we notice as human beings, when we go through things and things get bad, we have to justify it. And I always find it to be doing the work. People want to give me the responsibility of their lives, and that's not what I'm here for. And it amazes me all the time because, you know, people want you to make their decisions. And, you know, in my experiences of doing this, you have to make your own. And that's part of the map, and that's part of the process. But, you know, if you ever come across that, they're very good at it, trust me. If you've ever seen the egg thing done, you'll be 100% convinced that you're cursed. They pull blood out of it. And if you've gone through some bad things, it's very easy to validate that. So it happens a lot. And I can't tell you, it's always the people. I had the gentleman that lost the daughter was a PhD, so you would think he would be intelligent, but because he was so grief-stricken, he was so convinced that, you know, the daughter's death was because of a curse that he was trying to validate that. I mean, there are negative people. I won't sit here and tell you by any means that, you know, you're not going to get these people that aren't negative that suck you dry, but there is no such thing as a curse. Okay, so you make it real. It's like living your own reality because of that factor that you start believing I'm cursed. So it's very easy to create negativity, and that's been my experiences. The dream stuff is really interesting. I did a whole section, okay? Probably the 3 most common dreams people have are my teeth fell out, and that doesn't mean you need a dentist, okay? All right, the other one would be water, okay? Some people have dreamt of muddy water, dirty water, clear water. Each water represents something. If you ever get like a muddy water or dark water, that's sickness, that's illness, that's not good. Clear water is good fortune, new beginnings. The teeth thing is usually a death sign. Now, I've had a lot of women ask me, I dreamt that I was pregnant. Does that mean I'm going to have a baby at this point? And the answer is no. When you dream of pregnancy, it's death. Okay, when you dream of the opposite, it's birth. So it's always in that way. But I find it to be, you know, dreams are probably the easiest process for dead people to come through. We're in a more relaxed state. When you have an experience and somebody comes through, you know, they usually come through in such a way that you know it's not a dream. They'll hug you, they'll touch you, they'll embrace you, they'll talk to you. It's a little bit of both on that aspect, and they do it on both ends, so it's not uncommon. Usually, to me, that's usually the first process of this. I've had people come through now. Now we're in, the digital age. People are taking photos now. They're getting ghost photos. That's the big thing. Have you ever seen orbs? A lot of time those orbs are dust, but there are some really good ghost photographers out there that have actually gotten full apparitions, so it's not uncommon. The other big thing, if you saw the Michael Keaton movie, which came back a while ago, EVPs. EVPs are huge. We just did that. I just did a Maury show. I always tease people, of course, I'm not the father, because that's what you always know Maury for. And when I do it, it's more embraced about the fact that we're doing stuff that's haunted, or somebody that's lost somebody, so it's a nice eclectic mix of stuff. And actually, they enjoy when I do the show because they get tired of the paternity shows. But believe it or not, if you see which most people are home during the day and watch daytime TV, you will understand why those shows are popular. So in that aspect, it's the understanding of the fact that when you get a discarnated body, that a person that hasn't come back yet, and they come up on an EVP, they're coming up, and you will get what we call full voice stuff, where you are basically getting somebody talking to you. I've had it where they've told me, get out. I've had it tell me what their name is, how they died. We were just, the episode I just did, we were at the Eastern Penitentiary in Philadelphia, and on the EVP, we were in Al Capone's so-called cell, which I'm sure he had a few of them, and he came up on the EVP and said that he was guilty and that it was Al Capone. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, when you hear the voices, they sound very tinty, but remember, we have the voice box, they don't, and they're pure energy. And when you're getting signs and you're getting visitations, they're going to usually come up in an electromagnetic way, from the point that they'll come up either light-oriented, or if you have anything in the house going on, going off, it's not Florida power and lighting, it's definitely a dead person. And they will do different things. I recently did a book signing in Sarasota. A deputy sheriff came, she had lost her 19-year-old. And she was telling me every time she got in the car and turned the radio on, the dial would like go up and down. Okay, now this is a police car. And it would freak her out. So she had lost her son. I said, your son wasn't a country and western fan. He's trying to tell you something. And they do that because it's energy and it's not uncommon. So I've had all different experiences. You can get them where there's smells. Usually the classic example, if you've ever walked into a place and you're uncomfortable, what's the first thing you feel? You'll feel the coldness on your neck, the hair goes up. If you watched animals react to dead people, what do? Same thing. Cats, especially dogs, it's not uncommon. They will show you that they're seeing somebody. I find it to be, especially with dogs, that they see the person, they don't necessarily realize the person is dead, and they're reacting that way. So it's really, interesting because animals pick it up. I think it's more because of their sensitivity and the fact that they're so heightened in their sensitivities. So it's not unusual in that aspect. But, those are some of the things I talk about in the book. I tell people, you want to learn to develop, it's a really easy process, okay? Most people will not take 3 to 4 minutes a day to get quiet, do a little meditation, open up to that side. I tell people, you want a sign from somebody, you need a sign from somebody, ask for it, they'll give it to you, okay? You'll know it's very personal. I mean, I play a little game with them sometimes, and it's like Test Jeffrey. And basically what I do is I ask them for something very specific, and they bring it through. And that's part of the process. And when you learn to do that, it'll help you make that communication with your loved ones. So it's not uncommon by any means for them to do that. It's just them kind of learning to walk again. It's like going through that whole baby process, and we all go through it in different ways. And